Hey everyone, this week we're going to take a look at the end of Chapter 7, which is all about something called service journalism, which we see all the time now, and it's good to have working knowledge of what it is and what goes into it. Service journalism appeals to one of the criteria of news, which of course is usefulness, as we've covered in this class. And a lot of outlets are going to appeal to audiences by presenting information that they might find helpful. So we call this service, is providing a service. Of course, all journalism provides a service, but this is a specific service. Sometimes we also call it solutions or action journalism. And you might hear it called news you can use or news that works for you. The whole idea being that we're providing a service and hoping that our audiences can take that and actually apply it to their lives in a pragmatic way. It talks about consumer-oriented advice, consumer-oriented features. It can range from the frivolous to the serious. A guy named Clay Felker founded service journalism in 1968 through the New York Magazine. He really focused on what we're talking about, taking journalism and making it news you can use. So to gain a better understanding of what service journalism is about, think about a journalist who puts together a list of restaurants within 10 miles, right? This would be a helpful service to the public who could then, find places to eat after reading the article. Another example of service journalism would be taking a poll or a survey to see who a city's resident thinks offers the best wedding photography services, right? That would help people looking for photographers. And they could select the most excellent, expedient services available. So when you're looking for examples, think about news that is not only giving you information, giving you direction. That's a good way to think about it too, right? Because its purpose is to move people to do something, right? Not just know something, but to do something. And we see it at play because people who get that kind of service from their outlets tends to return to that source again and again. You could argue this is a pragmatic financial decision as much as an ethical one to provide this service to consumers. So what you really need to know when you're writing service journalism is you have to ask yourself, what does the reader consumer need to act on this information? What do they need to know? Do they need a phone number? Do they need a web address or an email address? Do they need someone's contact info? Do they need event details so they can go? What do they need so they can act? That's what you really have to provide, right? And if you can provide it in a straightforward format, a list perhaps, or bullet points, even better. You're going to provide the bridge that's going to move people from simply talking, knowing about something, to providing the information they need to take action for themselves. There are many different devices that can be utilized, can be employed to utilize service journalism, including blurbs. Blurbs are the summaries that appear after the headline and before the article. They can be used to offer the reader a quick overview of what the piece will discuss. You'll often see blurbs used in service journalism. Subheadings provide the reader with a deeper understanding of the topic at hand than the header alone will offer. And Q&A columns offer people the opportunity to gain information about products, services, and other pertinent matters that can add value to their lives. So things like blurbs, subheadings, Q&A, all of these help provide services to people who are reading your stories and also help give them direction. So people get tired of hearing the same idea conveyed in the same way over and over. So people who work in service journalism try to repeat old information in a new way to keep people engaged and interested, using graphics, using videos, right? Those are certainly ways that we're going to see, making lists, taking polls, right? So trying to find new ways to share what might be quote unquote old information, but new ways to provide it. Visual thinking, talking about videos and graphics. You're going to try to convey this meaningful information with graphics and pictures because many people are visual learners. So sidebar lists and box materials, when stuff is highlighted in its presentation off to the side or separately, is something we use a lot. Your quiz is going to ask you about that stuff today or this week. So look at pages 152 and 153. So we're going to do examples and take a quiz this week about service journalism, and I hope that you find examples of it everywhere because it certainly is a prevailing trend. Thanks.